Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So it's quite an interesting week in terms of real estate to give you my updates. So for my 50 unit, like the broker has been literally calling me like every other day. And I'm not used to this because when I was buying during COVID, the brokers would ignore you. Like I would literally text them, call them, email them multiple times a day over multiple days, and they would ignore me completely. But now the broker is like following up with me every 2 days, and it's so funny. So basically they want to give me an update that their financing department is contacting people or contacting lenders. They're contacting actually the current lender to see what kind of a bridge to permanent financing product would look like. So, they're looking to do a 1 to 2 year bridge loan to then refinance into long-term agency debt that's, fixed for 30 years, but maybe have a 10-year balloon. So I'm trying to see what options they give me and what valuations they have it at, just so that I can know how to make an offer. To be honest, I'm probably not gonna buy this deal unless I get an amazing lowball offer accepted. Just because, right now, just stabilizing my life, focusing on my personal life. I got a wedding coming up, eventually kids in the future, second kid not too long after that. I started real estate because I want to enjoy my life, to enjoy my day-to-day life, to not add additional stress if needed to my life. And, so right now it doesn't really make the most sense for me to buy, but hey, if it's an amazing deal and I can buy it and the numbers make sense and the upside's there, I'll buy. But I'm not desperate. I'm not hungry. I'm just kind of happy where I'm at. Obviously my W-2 job is stressful enough as is. And in my real estate portfolio, it's more stabilized. So I'm just trying to enjoy my life, right? That's why I invest in real estate. I don't care to become a billionaire. Maybe I will, I don't know, but I don't care to become a billionaire, even 100 million. But, I just want to live life on my terms. And, if it still makes sense for me to buy real estate, then I'll still buy, right? But if I get sick and tired of real estate, then maybe I'll sell and dump some into more passive index funds, right? But right now I enjoy real estate. But this is my season of harvesting all the seeds that I've planted back in 2017. I bought a lot of real estate in 2017, 19, 2021. So, 4 years later, I got to enjoy the fruits of my labor. My net worth went up and all the above, right? But anyways, back to the 50 unit. It's just interesting how they are proactively reaching out to me, oh yeah, we'll follow up with you. We'll hear something middle of next week. I'll call you next week. I'll send you an email next week. And I just never see someone this engaged, right? Maybe business hasn't been as good for real estate brokers because interest rates are so high. So maybe they're desperate to get commission. So it's weird. It's refreshing. I feel like they're doing the work for me, where I'm hey, you give me what you think the valuation will be with bridge debt because you guys are funding it. Right? So you tell me what's reasonable, right? So they're doing the work for me. And like I said, the best case offer I can imagine is giving the owner $2.2 million, taking over the loan subject to, and having him sell or carry second a large amount, at least, I don't want to put more than 10% down, to be honest. So I'd put $200K down. If it's 2.2, then I'd take over the loan, which is 1.1, and then he had to carry me $900,000 at an interest rate that makes sense for me to cash flow or at least break even day one, right? As I focus on lowering expenses. But the red flag on this property for me is that, well, if it's so easy to lower expenses, why isn't the current owner doing it, right? Literally, you just get rid of the maintenance guy who's full-time, just have him ad hoc. There you go. You just shaved $40,000 in expense. The property manager, maybe you can, does he need to be full-time? Right now he gets $50,000 a year plus another $20,000 in asset property management fee. Why am I paying somebody to be there as well, a property management fee on top? Can I just pay you $50,000 and not the $20,000 property management fee? That's part of your job. So that right there, it's shave $60,000. And if you shave $60,000, assuming a 10 cap, you just forced $600,000 in value, right? It's that easy. How come that? Why isn't the current owner doing that? It doesn't make sense to me. So that's why it smells a little bit fishy to me. If I just can come in and hey, you're gone. That's $50,000 saved. And hey, I'm gonna renegotiate with you. I'll pay you $50,000, and that includes property management, right? I'm not going to pay you another 8% fee on top of that. I'll just pay you to manage it full time, right? And give you free room and board to live there, right? Like, that's it. Like, so, like, to me, that's $70,000 right there. 10 cap, that's $600,000 in value. If it's like an 8 cap, that's even more, right? Like, that's maybe closer to $1 million. Like, wait, like, so can I literally just make $600,000 by going in and like firing one person and renegotiating with someone else? Like, it can't be that easy. And if it is, then the current owner is stupid. But I assume the current owner is not stupid because he's a doctor, an actual doctor, right? So, like, is it that easy? So I basically did some math on the deal. And so basically the gross rent was about $400,000. His total expense was $330,000. So the NOI is about $70,000. So you divide that by 12, and that's roughly about $6,000 a month. And his current loan, which is $1.1 million. So that guy put 50% down because he bought at 2.2. So he put 50% down. He put $1.1 million down. He has $1.1 million in debt. It's 10-year fixed, 30-year fixed. Has a balloon in 10 years. So in 2032, he bought it in 2022. So 10 years. And his interest rate's 4.75%. And I assume he has a prepayment penalty because it's agency debt, right? So I'm just like, okay, so, that total loan is about a little over $6,000 a month. So I think it's about $6,500 a month, and his NOI is about $6,000. So he's actually losing about $500 a month on this property. So I can see why he's desperate to get rid of this property, right? Because expenses are high, he's cash flow negative. And I'm just like, wait, but if you can trim like literally $60,000 of wages that easy, divided by 12, that's $5,000 a month. You can cash flow $5,000 a month. So that's why I said I have like red flags. Like, if it's that easy, why isn't he doing it? Like, is he that bad of an operator? Like, you just need, like, in this property, the income is amazing. It's Section 8 housing. They're paying top of the line rent, unless, things change with all the layoffs in HUD, all the layoffs in Section 8, all the layoffs in fair market health, FHA, all those layoffs. If that affects Section 8, then, but is it that easy? Just come in there, shave $60,000, cash flow $5,000 a month? Like, if that's the case, that's a no-brainer. But it's such a no-brainer that why isn't the current owner doing it? That's the red flag for me. That's the red flag. So there's something else going on, right? So that's why I'm in no rush, right? I'm literally in no rush. So like, he'd have the seller carry me this deal at a low interest rate, and depending on the numbers, I'll see what that is, right? And I'll look at what the bridge loan offer is going to be, and it's not going to be $2.2 million. I guarantee you that. At bridge debt, it's not going to be 2.2, and the interest rate's probably going to be 10 to 12%. So, at that point, like, is it worth it? I think not, right? So, this deal, I'll keep you guys posted, but that's kind of the latest that I have on this deal. Expenses are high, CapEx is high, wages are high. So, minimizing expense might be hard. And what I don't like is that if I buy this deal, I can't use my property manager for my 20 unit for the 50 unit, or maybe I could, right? I need to talk to Section 8 housing and ask, hey, is my current property manager, are they qualified? Are they on your list? Like, I have some Section 8 tenants in my 20 unit. They manage Section 8 tenants in their other units other apartments that they own, but does that mean they're qualified and registered to do it? If they are, then it's easier. If I have 70 units together, I can negotiate. Instead of paying 8% on 20 units, maybe I'll pay like 6% or 5% on 70 units. So I have the economies of scale, right? So that's what I need to know. So if this gets really serious, I would ask, hey, give me the contact for Section 8. I want to talk to them and see what the requirements are for property managers. Because if I'm able to like get rid of that full-time property manager and use my own property manager, it's easier, because I just want to talk to one property manager once a month, right? I don't want to talk to my 20 unit, my 26 unit, and my 50 unit. I want to talk to my one property manager that oversees my 20 unit, my 70 unit, my 50 unit, and then one that oversees my 26 unit. So that's why I said I'm not like at all desperate. Like, I'll make an offer if it makes sense to me, but I'm just doing this for fun because I'm bored, right? I'm just trying to learn, make offers, share my journey for you guys to learn. And if it comes out to be a great deal, great. If not, I don't care, right? I'm fine as is. Like, I don't need to buy another deal. But cool. If I get it, I'll be at 102 units and be over in that 100 unit club, right? Without any partners, ideally. So I'll keep you guys posted on the 50 unit, but like you said, I don't think I'm gonna make an offer that the current owner will like, unless the brokers voucher me. But like I said, this person's cash flow negative, but not that negative on the deal, but clearly not a good operator. Like I said, if you can trim expenses, it's a no-brainer, right? Like, okay, so we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted on this deal. The other thing was for my mobile home park. So I sold that using credit financing. So he took over my $1 million loan that I got seller financed to myself. So he took over that $1 million loan, and I seller carry second about $450,000. And he gave me like a $50,000 down payment. So I think I sold it for like $1.5 million. And yeah, I lost money on this deal. I lost about $100K on the deal. I was all in for about 1.6. So I had a nice little tax write-off to get a little bit of money back, but not all of it back. So it was interesting that the lender, so North Point Commercial, I had a line of credit for buying rental properties, rental mobile homes. So I'd basically buy a brand new rental home from like Clayton, or I think I bought it for Clayton, but it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single wide that was about maybe 800 square foot. And it was nice because I think I bought 2 of them in like October of 2022. And I basically got it delivered there, shipped there. I think I was all in for about $45K each single wide home. And because I had a line of credit, I financed 100% of it. So I was able to bring on a brand new mobile home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single wide, really nice, 100% finance. So it cost me $45K each. And the interest rate was variable, right? It's kind of like a HELOC. So, if right now interest rates are higher, so the monthly cost is higher. But basically, I think my total payment at the time was about $450, but I can rent it out for about $700. So I was kind of making quote unquote $300 per cash flow, but if you factor in all the expenses, maybe it's break even. But my point was I wanted to bring these homes on 100% finance, no money out of pocket, bring on a tenant, and if they can break even, I'm happy, right? And then eventually I would look to do a rent to own model, or just sell these homes to the tenants so that they own the homes and then they pay me lot rent. So that was my plan, because I wanted to bring people in. I had 200 lots to fill. I had about 40 lots occupied. I had 160 vacant lots. I was going to fix up, get these lots ready, put on a new home, rent it out, break even on it, and then eventually sell it to the renter or sell it to someone else who wants a used home, right? So I was looking to do that, bring on homes to either to rent initially, and then later down the road I wanted to bring on new homes to sell. But my market in Selma, Alabama was a renter's market, so it was more feasible to like bring it on. And I was looking to rent out to Section 8, because for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath Section 8, like they actually paid like even more, like I think $900 to $1,000. So I was looking to work with Section 8 to be like, hey, if you give me a wait list of people, I'll bring on like 4 homes a month was the cadence I wanted to go. I literally wanted to like bring on 4 homes a month. And if I can have a line of people waiting to rent them out at Section 8, I can get like, let's say $900 a month, and my cost is $450. I'll cash flow $450, but that's really to cover the other expenses like utilities, property management, landscaping. So in my mind, it's a wash. But if I can bring all these new homes, rent it out, it makes the mobile home park look really nice of all these new homes. It gives a facelift to the community. People get impressed, and then people want to start buying homes, right? But what I learned was that it's more of a renter's market there. So once you own the mobile home for a while, the downside of mobile homes is they're not as durable as stick-built homes. So over time, they depreciate over value. So if I bought it at $450, maybe in 10 years, maybe it's only worth like, let's just say $20,000. And at that point, I can sell that home to somebody, and then they could, get the loan on it. It's more affordable at $20,000, and then they just can pay me lot rent, right? So that was kind of my strategy, whereas like I could sell the new home to people who want to buy it now, but I could also can rent out these homes, and eventually when the homes go down in value over time, they get older over time, I would then sell that to tenants, and then they'd pay me lot rent. So I had a long-term vision for this, but obviously it didn't work because it's cash flow negative, bad property management, too high crime, D-class tenants didn't want to deal with it, so I sold it for a loss, right? But that was kind of my strategy. But why I shared all that was because North Point actually terminated my rental line of credit program. I think I had like $1.5 million, but I ended up only using 90,000 of it. And then what happened was the current buyer, they took over my loan subject too. So basically they just pay the loan directly for the two new homes. So I had a loan on those two new homes. I had a loan on a Bobcat that I bought for like $40,000. It was $700 a month. So they paid that. And I also had a lawnmower payment of about $200 a month, and they pay that as well. So they took over all my loans subject to, but it's still on my credit score, right? So they make the payments every month. They have it on auto pay. So I'm good, right? So North Point reached out to me saying, hey, you know what? We're canceling our rental line of credit. And I just was like, oh shit. Does that mean that my loan is being called due, right? Because now if it's called due, I don't have the money to cover that, all right? I mean, I do, but I don't want to shell out like $80,000 for that. So I just said, oh shoot. So I called them and just said, hey, like what's going on? Like, are you calling the loan due, or are you just canceling the line? And then they just said, no, like we're not going to call your loan due. It's just that you cannot add additional rental units onto your mobile home park. So you owe whatever 80,000 on it. Like you just continue making your payments to us. We won't call it due. Obviously if you get late or don't pay us, we'll call you, we'll foreclose on you. But as long as you make your payments, you're good. But you just cannot add additional units to the property. And I just had a sigh of relief saying that, oh, thank God. Like, because if it was called due, then I would have to get a statement of the outstanding principal. They usually give you at least a 30, 60, 90 day notice of, hey, we're calling your loan due. And I would send that paper to the current buyers so that they can just, pay it off. And then they would own the two mobile homes free and clear. And I would do a bill of sale so that now they own those two mobile homes, right? So, thankfully that didn't happen, but welcome to mobile home parks. And then on the North Point commercial, they're just like, well, if you're looking to bring on homes to sell, we are willing to work with you, right? But I just said, I don't own it anymore. I didn't tell them that because I don't want to tell them that I sold it subject to. But I just said, no, right now it's more of a rentals market. We're not looking to do that, but if I consider it down the road, I'll let you know and I'll reach out to you, right? So that's kind of what I did for that, and gave me a little bit of heartburn for a little bit. So welcome to real estate. But overall, my impression of mobile home, like I said, I don't like mobile homes. It's too labor intensive. It's too cost intensive. You have to be vertically integrated to have property management in-house, construction in-house, installers in-house, movers in-house. You're dealing with D-class tenants. I didn't like that. Don't get me wrong, there are nice mobile home park communities out there that's A-class, like in Florida, retirement communities, but it's just not my cup of tea, right? Like if I were to try to go back, I would maybe try an RV park. So it's more like appealing to like vacationers. But even then, like right now, it just doesn't make sense for me. Like while I'm working W-2, if I retire from my W-2, maybe I'll consider doing an RV park if I have shiny object syndrome and it makes sense. But right now, it just doesn't make sense because I'm more gearing towards like lifestyle, having a better lifestyle. So mobile home park just doesn't fit my lifestyle. It's too labor intensive. It's not for me, right? Like look at Brandon Turner from Bigger Pockets. He bought a lot of mobile home parks, and times are tough now, right? Things are expensive, and maybe distributions aren't going as well, and maybe he's losing money, right? So anyways, that's just kind of update on my mobile home park. And like you said, my note, I think I did it for 2.5 years, I believe, or about 3 years. So I sold that in November of 2023. So in November of 2026, which is we're about midway, hopefully I get my 40 to 50K back. I'm hoping. Realistically, I feel like they're going to ask me to extend. But at that point, maybe I'll renegotiate the interest rate, but I want my money back ideally so that I could, pay off this house, or I could use it to pay off my whole life insurance and then just transition towards like financial freedom, right? And just retiring from my W-2 and be more lifestyle oriented, right? That's kind of my whole goal. And I want to document my journey for you guys. Right now I still work, obviously, despite being worth $6.2 million, because I'm asset rich, I'm cash poor, right? So for me, it makes sense for me to sell a rental property, take that money, pay off my primary residence, wipe out my mortgage, reduce $5,500 a month of my expenses, and make it a lot easier for me to work part-time or to work not at all, or just retire, right? But for me, over the next 4 to 5 years, probably have 2 kids, 2 years apart ideally. Hopefully by then, I probably would have sold one of my first single family home, pay off the primary residence, not worry about that. I'm hoping that my YouTube channel blows up, the coaching program, gets bigger over time. My YouTube gets bigger over time. Maybe I get some sponsorships, and I really just want to like make this YouTube / coaching kind of my main source of income on top of real estate, because I enjoy doing it. And then also becoming a real estate broker, or Christine being a real estate broker. And then obviously I would bring along with that journey as well she becomes a broker and then like starts to sell real estate. So to give more content for you guys to learn from our journey. So that's kind of something that I'm looking for the next 4 to 5 years. So by then, I'm almost 35. I'd be like maybe around 40 at that point. Like I definitely probably don't have to work. I want to milk that paternity leave and maternity and paternity leave at our jobs. But at that point, once we've got the paternity leave, maternity leave, got our income, and pay off this primary residence, hopefully my real estate business, coaching business picks up, my YouTube picks up and gets sponsorships. Like I don't need that much money. Like I was just telling Christine like yesterday, like honestly, if between my side hustle of like YouTube, coaching, and all that, between her selling homes, if we collectively can make like $150,000, which is one pharmacist's salary, like that's good enough, right? Like if our house is paid off, that's great. We can live with $150,000 a year, but you pay taxes on it, so it's not really 150. So maybe after taxes, it might be like, let's just call it 120. So that's $10K a month. No, actually more than that. Maybe it's 100,000. Divided by 12, so you're living out $8K a month, which we could, right? It's not gonna be super lavish, but it'll be comfortable. And then we just whatever money we make from our side hustles, we would just literally just like spend it, and then let my principal like compound over time. So I won't touch any real estate. I won't sell it. I'll just let that compound over time. The appreciation goes up, the rents go up, the loan stays the same. My index funds are compounding, and then at that point, that just let that appreciate, compound, and that'll cover my kids' expenses, college, all that stuff, right? Because with all that, we're worth about maybe $7 million collectively. So like you let that compound and double every let's say 10 years, you'll have a decent net worth, more than we'll need, right? So like that's what my goal is. And what's nice too is like if me and Christine make about 150 between like our side hustles, we probably have an S corporation. And what's nice about having an S corporation is you have more tax write-off. So I can write off home office, right? I have a 3-bedroom townhouse, and 1 bedroom is my home office where I do a lot of my coaching calls. And so you can write off a portion. So if my home office is 10% of my house, I can write off 10% of all my expenses, right? So it's nice. You can write off 10% of all your expenses. So let's say in a year you spend $50,000 in all your home expenses, which includes your property interest, your property tax, your insurance, your HOA, your utilities, any repairs. You can write out 10% of that as a home office expense to offset your business income. On top of that, people are worried about insurance, right, when they retire. But let's just say I calculate, I think it's gonna be about maybe $1,200 a month for insurance for a family of 4 through Cover California. But when you own an S corporation, you could write off the $1,200 a month against your income, right? If we go on like business trips / vacations, you can write off the flights, some hotel days, if like some of it's for business and then some of it is for vacation, right? You can delineate that, so you get another write-off. If we go out to business dinners or dinners of friends who are potential clients, then you get another meal. You can write 50% of the meals. Like my utilities, like my phone. Like, if I talk to clients and I use my phone 50% for business, if I buy a new iPhone for $1,000, I can write 500 of it, right? Half of it. If I buy a new laptop and 75% of it's for business, I can write 75% of that laptop, right? If I drive to meet a client, I can write off 70 cents a mile to meet that client. So, to me, making $150,000 as a business owner isn't as consistent as a W-2, but you get so much more tax write-offs so that money that you're going to spend anyways is being used to offset your tax liability, right? So 150K as an S corp versus 150K as like a W-2, you'll pay less taxes as an S corp because you can write off a lot of things that you normally would do, right? If I have a dinner with like my good buddy who's one of my coaching clients, that's a business write-off for the dinner. To drive there, it's a write-off. To eat there, it's a write-off. If I go to like Cabo and do a mastermind retreat with a lot of my buddies and teach them about real estate, and they pay me to go there, and like we do like coaching sessions and teaching sessions, and then that whole trip could be a write-off to Cabo, right? And that's what's really amazing. So you can kind of like take advantage of little tax benefits of being a business owner to like make your $150,000 go further. Like I said, we would just spend all that money for ourselves. Like I would be budget neutral at the end of the month, right? Like I wouldn't save any money. I just would like, all right, my house is paid off. If we make 150K between us two, between my coaching and mentorship and her real estate. So for her, it's selling like 2 homes a year. And if I can make 60K, then there you go. We hit our goal, and then just spend all that money, right? Like go out, eat, travel, whatever. Like, and then whatever money I make from real estate, I just let that compound, right? Whatever cash flow I make from my real estate portfolio, that compounds over time. I can use that to save to buy my next piece of real estate, right? So that's how it gets really powerful, is when you have that system. And I feel like we're almost there, to be honest. That's why I think in about 4 to 5 years, our side businesses will pick up and hopefully make about 150K. So that at that point, everything's paid off. We don't have to worry about that. And we can live at the 150K and spend time with our kids, right? So that's really what my goal is. And like I said, gonna document that journey with you. So something I've been thinking about and really contemplating, and like I said, like for me, like, if I had 150K and I didn't have to pay much in taxes of that, and I netted 150K, that's like 12K a month. That's plenty of money. Like spending 12K a month, right? When your housing expense is only like $2,000, I mean, geez, you have 10,000 surplus for like everything, and then your health insurance is like a tax write-off. So I share Christine this because like this is the first year, because I'm a sole proprietor, where like my coaching business made a decent amount of money, made about like, I think like $30,000 for the year. So because I have more income, you can do more write-offs, right? Because now you're a more legitimate business, right? And there's also like an Augusta rule where you can rent out your home to your business for 14 days and charge market rent. So if your whole house can rent out for $100 for 14 days, that's $1,400 that you can write off, and you can host like coaching sessions or teaching sessions or masterminds at your house, like, so you can rent out your primary residence to your business for 14 days and then not have to report that income because of the Augusta rule. So you get a lot of little tax write-offs here and there, which I'm kind of slowly learning about, and I'm teaching of Christine because I just did my taxes on TurboTax, so that's why it's like fresh in mind. But yeah, it was very eye-opening for me, like all the tax benefits that you get once you own your own business, right? You can write off travel, you can write off airfare, hotels, if it's for business purposes. You can write off your cell phone, your internet for business purposes. You can write off your home office. You can rent your home to your business to host like teaching sessions, right? So you have to be able to document all this and prove it and make it legitimate and be reasonable, right? You don't want to over milk it. But yeah, that's the game and that's the goal. So anyways, hopefully you found value from my update on my 50 unit apartment complex, about my mobile home park, and then kind of our plans for financial freedom. If you want to obtain financial freedom through multifamily real estate, check out my mentorship program down below. I also have one-on-one coaching, but if you want my free multifamily bootcamp, you can send me your email, and then I can add you to the wait list, right? Right now it's free, but I've had high demand. So, I might charge a little bit if I get too big, right? Just to keep the people seriously accountable, because I don't want people to no-show. And no-show is higher when it's free versus if you have to put a little money in there, then, people are more inclined to show up. So anyways, let me know what your thoughts are. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you next one. Thank you so much.